In this video we'll study about some programs of for loop. Okay, so suppose if I name my class as for example. Okay, this is for example, and here we have the main class, that is public static void main and the string type argument inside it. Okay, so I'll save this with for example .java. Okay, so if I talk about the for loop, as I told you here about the syntax of for loop, we first have the for keyword, then inside parentheses we have three things, that is initialization, then condition, and then increment and decrement. Okay, so first of all we'll make the initializations, that is if we make I int I. Okay, this is our initialization, so we'll initialize I from 0. Then we have the condition. Okay, suppose I want to print I till 5, so I'll make the condition till I less than equals 5, and as I want to increment I by 1 in each iteration, I'll place this. Okay, now I just want to print I, so I'll write system.out.println and the value of I. Okay, in this case curly braces are not needed as we have a single statement inside the for loop. Okay, so now if we run this, okay, so our class is Java C, then the class name, sorry, file name is for example.java. Okay, so it should be compiled successfully. Now for the run we have the class name, that is also for example dot. Okay, this is the class name. Okay, so we got 0 1 2 3 4 5. If I don't want I to print 0, so I'll just change over here from 1, and then we'll again save this, and when we run it again we'll get the desired output. Okay, now suppose I can absolutely remove this curly braces present over here, as we are having the single statement inside for loop, so we'll not get any difference in our output. This is the same output as the previous one. Okay, so now as I told you here in this case that the initialization, suppose I'm initializing here int I, so I will only work inside this for loop. Okay, so declaration is possible here, but its scope will be only in this for loop. If we try to use it outside the loop, outside the scope of the loop, we'll get an error. Okay, yes, I can show you a simple demo of how do we get an error. Suppose now again I print over here I system.out.print I. So now you can see that I'll get an error that cannot find symbol I, variable I, as I have declared int I over here, so I cannot use it outside the for loop. But if I want to increase its scope, I'll only initialize it over here and will declare it outside the loop, so I'll declare it here int I. Now I'll not get an error and my program would be error free, and I would get the same output as before. Okay, so we get here 1 2 3 4 5, and this time this I which I have printed in the last line after we came out of the for loop is also printed. That's why we get in 6 over here. Okay, so now yes, I like to show you one more condition, that is of infinite loop. Suppose if I give a blank in this between in the condition space, okay, and I print it, just make it comment for this time. Okay, now if I save this and we run it after compilation, just see what happens if I run it. As you can see, I don't have a condition. That means the for loop will never stop, and also this statement will also never be executed. Okay, so suppose I print over here high. So this high will never be printed as this for loop will run in an infinite loop. Okay. Yes, now you can see I got an error. As Java is really smart, it will check that this for loop is an infinite loop as we haven't given any conditions inside it. Thus, this statement will never be executed. This high statement will never be executed. Therefore, we get an error that is unreachable statement. Okay, so we need to comment it for this cause. Okay, so now when we run this, this will run into an infinite loop and I would be printed till infinite. Okay, these were some examples of for loop. In the next video, we'll see some more programs using for loop. Thank you.